everyone, how are you doing? I'm beginning to look a little bit peaky and pale. So I wanted to do a kind of warm trans-seasonal makeup for you. I've already put a little bit of base on and I actually had to go over with my Tarte Shape Tape concealer because yeah, just needed a little bit more coverage. I'm loving all my vitamin C's that I'm using on my skin, but my pigmentation is kind of really coming back with a vengeance, like a bit of a boxing fight at the moment. Come on! It keeps coming back. Anyway, I might have to do further treatments to push it back. Anyway, we'll do another video on that. Today is all about this eyeshadow palette. Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk and this gorgeous palette, Hourglass. It's a new ambient palette and it's called Unlocked. The reason I've chosen these two colours to do it is because they're really warm. And sometimes if you use just a lot of browns, it can drain your complexion. It can look a bit muddy. If you don't have that sort of natural warmth after the winter in your skin, it can look a bit grubby, is the word I'm looking for. So I've done my base and I've put powder over my eyelids. I haven't used any primer or anything, but I've knocked back the sort of pinky purple shades in my eyes before we start. Make sure you always start with a powdered base on your eyes if you're going to apply eyeshadow. So I'm going to start with the lightest, most shimmery shade first of all. If you build up the light first, then you can make sure that you get a nice lift. If you go in dark, you'll never get as light as if you were putting it on your own skin tone. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to take that just into the corner and I'm going to take a little cotton bud actually, straight away, my little bird. A big fat one this time, not a skinny one, and just place that just over the inner corner of the eye there, just really, really softly. Now it's got a lovely brightening undertone of kind of like a pale gold, so it lifts the eye. And on the other side too. Now these colours are really, really soft, and I like the softness in them because they're gentle on the skin, but they are enough to shape the eye. And for those of you who've watched lots of my videos, I like really beautiful, perfected makeup, but nothing that sort of overpowers your face or looks like you have lots of makeup on your face. It sort of, you know, becomes a secondary thing. I want people to look at my girl's makeup and go, oh, you look great, rather than like, oh, you've got new makeup on. I mean, sometimes, obviously, if you've spent 30 quid on a lipstick, you'd like a nice comment on it. Okay, so I'm going to use the same brush and I'm probably going to go in with the second lightest shade here, just as a little wash. And I'm going to take this all the way, that part of my eyes, and literally I'm taking the tip of the brush and I'm pushing that into my socket because when I look directly in the mirror, I want to see the wash of that colour, not the darker colour, because it'll be too much. And that just starts to push my socket back. I use a My Kit Go blending brush. These are lovely actually, just to push that back. So use the flat of the brush to layer the product in and then use the tip just inside that socket so that you just cut back. So I've got quite a big area here that I can actually push back. If you're small there, then don't push that back too much. But if you've got a big, well, which will soon to be quite a large overhang for me, in a few years, then just knock it back, don't keep it nice and light. And just blend that through. Blend it through. Okay, so now I'm gonna avoid the sparkly one. I want to get as much depth as I can, so I'm gonna use the darker one and I'm going to use my cotton bud trick. Just really pushed the cotton bud into the shade, flicked it off, and I'm gonna trace this just along my lash line, the outer corner, and then really indenting that into my socket. See, when my brow is really, really lifted, you can see my socket, but then obviously when it collapses, you lose it. When you look at yourself when you're doing makeup, you sort of have this makeup face and you think, oh, I can't see anything, but obviously when you're talking and you're being animated, all the lovely shading and highlights that you've done within your makeup become much more visible. And that really helps to shape your face. So you can see how that really, if I just tip my chin back, it's always a good way to tip your chin back actually, to see your socket, especially if you've got a heavier lid. Tipping it back makes it much easier. Just twisted the cotton bud round and I'm blending that shadow into the other shadow. That's why it's important to put that layer first. And that gives a lovely smudge. Right, you know what? I'm going to go in underneath as well. But I'm going to put it right in between my lashes and soften it round. It's actually making my eyes appear much more green. Now it's this outer corner there that I'll just blend in. I'll just blend that into my base. You can see how that highlight now is picking up. Now I've gone darker on the other side. Right, so again, tracing really close to the lash line. No, don't worry, if it smudges too much, you can always correct it. And take the darker one, chin back if you need to, and just push it right in to that socket, because if you use a brush, and the same brush as you've used to do the softer shade, you're going to spread the colour too much. And then you lose that sharp point of definition, you lose the shape. Just going to take it underneath these lower lashes too. I miss all the lovely sunshine pouring into my office. It's been so nice filming with that sunshine coming in. A bit random with the lighting, but you know, it's life, isn't it? Thank you so much for all your lovely comments, by the way. I cannot tell you how lovely it is to read what you say. And I just think, God, they've just taken the time, you know, out of their day to actually say something. And so I have to say, it makes all the work very worthwhile. It's great sharing with such a lovely bunch of women. Okay, so I'm just going to blend that through again with my clean blending brush. I think maybe just a tad more in there. You can always do like a little check, as I said, by just lifting up. Yeah, nice. Probably got a little bit too much on this side, so it's always nicer to go too much, because if you go too skinny, it shrinks the eye, and it's always nice to have a wider surface area for your eye. I can touch up with a little bit of concealer there in a minute, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. All right, so now I'm going to use a tiny little bit of the metallic. So if you have fine lines around your eyes, who cares? Put the metallic on. It's just so nice to get a lovely hint of light, and I'm putting it just across the area where the two shadows met. People say, oh, don't use sparkly products, it really enhances your lines. Well, it's not going to make them disappear, is it, if you've got a matte texture? Everyone can see lines on people's skin. Just embellish your face however which way you want. It's for enjoyment, and I get a lot of pleasure out of making myself look much more human than I would do if I didn't bother. I like myself much more. Yeah, these are all very soft and subtle. The magic will come with lashes, blush and a lip. Like I said, it's all about that kind of combination of similar tones that just give you that very polished look. Next up, Caution by Hourglass. I simply can't get enough of this mascara. It is so quick and easy to use, and it does not crumble or flake. The colour doesn't fade throughout the day. My lashes are as black and as inky as they were when I first applied the makeup in the morning, which we love, right? It does take, as I said before in a previous video, it does take a while to get it off. Not like it's waterproof, but it just needs a little bit more TLC, so I do use one of my oil cleansers just to emulsify it quickly. But it isn't for the faint-hearted, it's for those of us who love a full-on, super quick lash. So sometimes I do have to comb it through, and that's fine. But, you know, that's probably taken me, what, 15 seconds? That's what I like. Da, 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 da. That makes such a difference. But if you have overloaded your lashes, quick cotton bud and just remove those spider's feet just underneath this before it sets, and it shouldn't move anything around. Just move a little bit back. Just really lift, lift, lift. Yeah, I've often said it's like blow drying your hair, isn't it? You really need to really help and encourage the lashes to lift. before the product dries. Once this mascara is dried, forget it, there's no more application. You had your moment, get it right, and then it's over. And the reason I say that is because it will go really cloggy and you'll end up with sort of 4 spikes of lash instead. Loving this, loving this. I might actually put a little bit of gold, like a chocolatey gold, in my waterline, very softly, not black, because it would be too jarring against these really soft, oystery, warm pinks. Just a little bit there. Great, okay, now, so I am looking a bit peaky. Now I've got my oil on here. By the way, been really loving this herbivore oil. Now, I did an Insta story of one of Caroline Hirons's green boxes that she did for Space NK, and I came across this product and it's really lovely. It's really light but heavy at the same time, so it's well under makeup. But I just love it in my makeup bag because I obviously use lots and lots of oil over my cheekbones because I like that glossy finish. I don't like it to look dry, and that's just great in the makeup bag and sits well over makeup. So I've got that on. I'm going to start warming up my complexion, I think, with the Hourglass. So I'm going to use the lighter highlighter colours first. Let's go in with a bit of light first. I'm just going to really catch the light from here. Whoa, there she goes. Just a bit on the bridge of my nose. You can see how nice that looks as well. That's the thing about the Hourglass, the pigments are so fine that, you know, you kind of catch that light, but it never leaves that horrible stripe unless you sort of overdid it. And I'm going to use a slightly bigger brush now. And I'm going to use both bronzers at the top, darker powders. And I'm just going to push these into my hairline. Okay, if I don't get it on my blonde hair. Oh, a little bit of sun breaking through. That works well for my highlight. Just really pushing my face forward and giving it a little bit of shape, not contouring or overly bronzing, just adding a little bit of warmth. And I'm always slightly paler under my neck here, so it's quite nice. So subtle, so sheer, can't overdo it. I'm going to use the same brush that I used for the highlighter here, and I'm just going to do a fusion of these two colours together because the deeper plum might be a bit too much for me. I'm going to lift, I feel like I need a lift, so I'm going to place it just over my cheekbone, just there. I like these Zoeva brushes because this is a 105, because it sort of allows you to sort of have a delicate application of blush because it's the beveled edge to it. If you've got a big round brush, say like for instance like that one, there's quite a lot of colour going on all at the same time. Oh yes, that feels a little bit better. I feel like I'm coming to life. Clean brush and just blend those in really nicely. And that just helps the highlight fuse in to the blush as well, so it all becomes one. Right, and now for the lips. I'm going to use Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk lipstick as well, but I'm going to start with my XXL liner from Rodial, or Rodial. What do you say, Rodial, Rodial? So I have to be very cautious with my lips because they are slightly feathered on top. So this is a great neutral, well used, as you can see, just to create a bit of balance. Now I always take away that lip line because I just hate the remnants of a lip line when my lipstick does wear off. Okay, and now for Pillow Talk. I only used one side with my lip brush, but I'm just going to apply it from the bullet. Oh look, more sunshine. Can't beat the texture of these lipsticks, I have to say. They're hydrating enough, not too much slip, allows you to wear the colour in confidence, but it really lasts. Great, I think that looks balanced. What do you think? You know, it's a really nice polished look. It's made up, my eyes are definitely brighter, definitely greener, and it's just another alternative for getting everyone out of the brown rut. Anyway, very much looking forward to speaking to you down below, and I hope you like the look. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.